Hi, I'm Mac. So in this video, we are going to show you how to properly recover checkout abandoners for your brand so that you can make loads of money and stop losing customers for no reason at all. Now, in this video, we're going to cover some key areas. So why people abandon in the first place, which is important. How many people abandon, just to give you some context. How to approach abandonment checkout flows. So same but different. Not all customer is the same. Not all brand is the same, etc. Flow structure ideas. So I'm going to show you some AIM-specific flow structure ideas, which will not only give you a template to follow, but will help you understand how to create one for every individual brand. I'm going to show you some nice emails, some that we've done, some that we like, and then we're going to show you some metrics so that you know what you're doing is right. So look at me, I'm in the way here. Can I get out of the way? No. You're stuck with me. So why do people abandon their cart at the checkout? Reason number one, unexpected costs. 48% of shoppers often abandon their carts when they encounter unexpected or high additional costs, such as shipping taxes or fees. So that's one thing you need to consider. Now, you can actually deal with that without doing emails and reduce it drastically by having free shipping, and putting the shipping costs within the price, for example. If not, then you can deal with it within the email flows and kind of highlight why shipping costs what it does, for example, especially if it's international, right? Second one, people are just browsing. So 34% of customers are not ready to purchase, and they'll use the cart as a wish list for price comparison. I know my wife does this all the time. She'll just add it to cart, and then she'll get all these emails, and she'll wonder why everyone's emailing them. And this is why. Yeah. Third one, they found a better deal elsewhere. So 23%, no small number. Customers might leave if they find a better price, better offer, or an incentive on another site. So people don't just come to checkout and they're like, okay, I'm straight in, I'm going to buy. Unless you go to Gymshark and you're like, I want to buy this thing. People will get as far as the checkout and they'll see the price, and then they'll open up another tab and they'll go and look somewhere else. They'll look on Amazon, they'll look on another website, they'll look at your direct competitors, and they will see if they can get a better deal elsewhere, as they should. And then another one that really annoys me, complicated checkout process. So long or overly complex checkout forms typically deter the shoppers. So streamline the process, and you can significantly improve the conversions. Yeah. So make it easy, like one click straight to checkout and buy. None of this like 4 or 5 step things. People will just leave. And then one that I haven't seen much for brands that we work with, but 17%. There's a lack of trust in the site's payment security, and that can lead to customers to abandon their purchase. So it's handy to have that within the checkout process, and also within the emails as well. So that is why people abandon their checkout. So if you want to grab this, screen grab it, take it. It's really handy to have. You want to focus on this one first, then this one, then this, so on and so forth. You get the idea. And then, how many people actually abandon their cart? So there's quite some interesting numbers here. The global average is just shy of 70%. That's 7 out of 10 people will abandon their cart. Desktop, only 67%, so slightly lower. Mobile, a whopping 85%. This is typically due to poor user experience or slower load times, because people don't make the checkout process on their store mobile friendly. And then tablet hovers around 70-79%, so it's kind of in the middle. Then even as far as being industry specific, so fashion is like 74% of people within fashion. This is typical. People are looking for better offers elsewhere, or if they can find the same item for less. Travel and tourism, 85% is really high. Ticket booking and holiday planning is quite typical as well. And then electronics, 76%, grocery, 60-65%. So you get the idea. It's very specific, and this is important information because not every industry is the same, right? Then, how to approach checkout abandonment flows. So there's some things to notice here that are important, right? Checkout abandonment isn't cart abandonment. We'll go into what that means in a moment. There's different levels of intent. No two customers are the same, and no two brands are the same. So you can't just build, contrary to what a lot of agencies will tell you, that you can just build the same flow and it'll work. It won't. It's different, and it's important that your agency or your team or you tests and tries different ideas to find what works for your brand and also for the customers, so you take them down separate paths, which we're going to go into in some email ideas shortly. So, highest intent. Those who abandon the checkout are typically those with the highest intent to make a purchase. So they've got as far as the checkout, that's the last point. Before that, they put it in their basket and they're not quite, on the way to the checkout yet. So they picked up their basket, they filled it up, and then they just put it on the side and walked out of the shop, which is odd, but people do that online. Then you've got the browser abandonment. So they're in the tire kickers, they're looking around, they've looked at the product and think, oh, this looks cool, and then they walk out of the shop. Again, typical. And then the site abandonment, these are your window shoppers. They, get to the door, they look inside and they're like, nah, I'm okay for now. And they're out the door. So we want to, and there'll be separate videos on all these, we want to capture people at different levels of their journeys. But the key thing here is we need to treat these people differently. If somebody gets as far as checkout and abandons, we want to treat them differently than somebody who gets as far as the abandoned cart, the tire kickers, browser abandonment, and then the site abandonment as well. So, and then same but different. So no two customers are the same. Okay, this applies to things like buying frequency. This is something you can split within your flows. Product interest, again, something you can split with your flows, and also things like money spent and so on. So if we can segment our customers based on a number of different things, we can create personalized customer journeys that are relevant to where they are. So non-buyers, we want to treat them different to buyers. For example, people that are interested in this one item compared to somebody who's interested in this type of item within categories, we want to treat them differently as well, as much as possible, without obviously affecting revenue, which is important. So, and again, we don't have to make this complicated. This is a key theme throughout a lot of the videos I put on. You don't have to make this stuff complicated. It is straightforward. And building your checkout abandonment flow. I'm going to share a couple of ideas with you in a second. I'm going to pause this and then jump across. Here we are. So I'm going to share two completely different flows that have some very key differences in them. So I'll just zoom in as much as possible. This is a flow that we use quite a lot. So this is one that right from the very beginning, we split people up based on have they placed an order overall time. Now you can vary this, depending on the type of products you have. It could be, has placed an order once in the last 60 days. So if it's, you have a lot of products and people come back, reoccurring purchases and they come back quite a lot, then you may want to dial this down. If this is like a homeware brand, for example, and people don't come all the time, and we just want to split them based on the fact that they've placed an order, then that's what we want to do. And the kind of key difference here is, so you can put this conditional split further down if you prefer, but we just put it at the top because then we can measure each individual email. Even though like these two will be pretty much the same, we want to measure them based on the individual person. So if they place an order at least once over all time, we want to treat them a little bit differently. So if they haven't, this is how we would do it for this flow specifically. So we'd send them a nudge email. So like, hey, it looks like there's something behind. Do you need any help? And we give people the opportunity to ask questions. So rather than just like, hey, you left something behind, please buy. It's like, how can we help you? Respond to this email, or, reach out to our chat thing, whatever makes the most sense. We want to give people the opportunity to ask for help from there, because if they don't need any help, they'll probably make the purchase, and that's cool. If they do, then we're giving them the opportunity to do so. And we found that this works really, really well. Second one, email 2. Now, just to note, these time differences, these are not set in stone. Like, these are what we typically set them at, and then we would test them over time. 1 hour is typically like the best for checkout across the board. And then we might want to do this like 2 days later, a day later, a day and a half later, whatever. And then a day, and then maybe 3 days. Like, it doesn't, these can be changed. Email 2 is testimonials and social proof. So I'm going to show you like a cool email example of this shortly, but we want to kind of put us head and shoulders above the competition in the words of our customers. So if you've got some partnerships with like Tesla, for example, you might want to put that in this email. If you've got some celebrity customers, you might want to put that in the email. If you've got some customers that think you guys are awesome, brand specific, put that within that email. And then what we do from here, email 3 and 4, is like, hey, here's a 2-day gift or 48-hour gift, a discount, here's 20% off, or, here's whatever discount or offer, here's free shipping, whatever the offer is you want to test. We introduce it by email 3, and then email 4 is like, hey, here's your last chance. Now the difference here is this person's bought before, so they're like, hey, here's your nudge. Do you want to buy? Do you need any help? Cool, no. The next one's like, hey, you've already bought from us. We've already acquired you through ads, organically, social, whatever. You're free. We don't have to pay for you at this point. So we're going to introduce an offer sooner, because at this point, that discount there, the margins within there are not cut into as much as over here, for example. So we're happy to introduce this sooner to get that repeat purchase and turn them from a one-time buyer to a two-time buyer. Now, if you want to change, to just one, they place once here, and you want to do it, second-time buyers, Totally can do that. Whatever works for you and your brand. You guys as brand owners will kind of understand what that looks like. And then, last one is like last chance to get your discount. So pretty straightforward. I like this one a lot. I think it's a really good flow. I think it's very simple. Does the job. Really, really good for lifestyle brands that might have 10 to 15 different products with loads of variations, for example. Now, the second one, a little bit more involved, but still super powerful, and I'll explain why, is we'll send the first email like, hey, it looks like you're left something behind. Do you need any help? Here's a nudge, etc. Second one, social proof. So this goes to everybody like, hey, like here's a bit of social proof. Here's why people should buy from you, so on and so forth. And then from here, and this is dependent on the product. So again, this is why, like I say, same but different, is if you have a variety of different categories. So say if you only sell 5 different products and you have, one that is like $500 and then the other 4 are like $20. We're going to want to split them differently because like those who are over here that are looking at the $500 product, their buying decision is going to need to be a little bit different than these guys over here. So we're going to want to word that email differently, and we're going to want to put a lot more in trying to compel these people to make a decision based on that product. And it's an opportunity to personalize, like, hey, we see that you were looking at this $500 amazing product that like gives you all your hair back or something. Whereas anybody else on here, the messaging can be different. So you could have 5. You could literally split this and then split and split and split and have 5. But ultimately, you get the idea here that you can split it based on the product. That element of personalization will increase conversions, but it also helps you change the language based on if the value is higher or if the product's completely different. Then from there, what we do is we look at splitting again for those who bought at least once. So if they bought at least once, it's like, hey, here's your discount and here's your last chance. Very much similar to the flow over here. And then on the next one over here, because they're not bought, we want to do like a bit of USP, a bit of risk reversal. So a bit of like, hey, if you buy this and you don't love it, which you will, you can send it back within 60 days. And did you know that we are the best brand that does cereal because you get 1 million grams of protein and, no fats or something. You get the idea. I'm going to show you a couple of ideas on that in another email soon. So you get the idea here. So that's just 2. Now, the reason I show you this one that's a little bit more involved as a bit of direction is I don't want you to come away from these flows and be like, I'm just going to use this one. Like, try them, test them, see how they work. But you want to get into your head of like, okay, I can split people based on different things. And that's what you want to be thinking about. These conditional splits could be anything. This one here, for example, could be, has spent at least $100 or at least $500. Yes. Okay, what do I want to send to these people? Like, they're VIPs at this point. Do I want to treat them as such? Maybe I want to do that at that pre-purchase point from there. That's why that's super important. So I'm going to jump back into the presentation. Okay, so this is my favorite part here where we are going to cover a number of different ideas and of different designs. So this is a real simple, like, hey, don't leave your order behind. Complete your order. Here's the product, little bit of text. Social proof is cool. Really important things here like 60-day returns, trusted by 200,000 athletes, fast shipping worldwide, recommended backpack, and all the usual stuff. Like, we don't care about this stuff right now, but really simple, like, hey, don't leave your order behind, bit of spiel, here's your product, complete your order. And then the second one, this is like the offer that we did, and it's like, hey, we have an exclusive offer just for you. Use the code DUOPatch at checkout, and you'll get 2 patches completely free with your order. So people are like, oh, cool, I'm going to buy a bag. And this is for people who are looking to buy a bag, so we split them based on that. So if these are people looking to buy a bag from Built for Athletes, then obviously, we want to give them some kind of offer. And 2 patches seems to be a really cool offer. We tried this against loads of different offers. It works really well. So really straightforward. Doesn't have to be loads. And then Surreal. What I like about this one here is they've got the product in here, and then they've got a really cool like us versus them. Like no sugar, low carbs, higher protein, high fiber, gluten free, and then nice bit of text, and then a really cool call to action of like eat me, which is sick. And then Prana, what I like about these ones is like, hey, come back to make this tank yours, but you might also like these. So they're sharing some other products. Now, I don't know, this is not our brand. I don't know if they have a specific sort of product recommendation on here, but you can definitely go really deep and do some product recommendation based on what people are looking at. So I think this is really cool for that, especially as a fashion brand, because people might go here and be like, I don't want that now, I quite like this one. And then they can click it and go and buy it. and then everyone wins. Last one, don't just take our word for it. Good bit of social proof. You know, here's the product there, a little bit of text, and it's a nice bit of social proof on here. If anything, I would consider like removing this where possible and have these further up, or maybe lead with one of these. Yeah, lead with one of these at the top. So where that text is there, like have incredible, drank this on a movie night and it was a perfect evening. Boom. You get the idea. And then, you know, short by category then, all good stuff from there. So just some really cool ideas to, you know, if you want to screen grab this and take some inspiration, or go to reallygoodemails.com. We use that quite a lot to get some ideas. That's where I stole these 3 from. You get the idea. So very lastly, at the end, metrics to watch out for. So there's loads of metrics you can check, but just as a kind of ballpark understanding, especially if you're kind of trying to put this together yourself, open rates, click rates, and placed order rates is where we want to be paying a lot of our attention. So the benchmark for open rates between 40 and 60%. Yeah. Things are going to do that. Good subject line. So, you know, are you thinking about Bill for Athletes? Are you thinking about your new bag? Are you thinking about these shoes? You know, whatever, something like that. Personalization. So I don't just mean like the name. The name is great, but like put the product details in the subject line, or put the product details within the content of the email as well. People know what they're there for, and it makes that kind of like they have to think less. Therefore, chances of them buying are expected to be higher. And then click rates, you know, anywhere between 15 and 25%. This is much higher than obviously campaigns where you might have 3, 5, 7%, whatever. You know, this is a lot higher because it's very specific. But clear and prominent CTAs, you know, like return to your car or complete your order, complete your purchase. Include product images, price details, and any incentives. Like, have this information in there to let people know, like, the high likelihood that we'll click through and go back to the checkout again. And then the placed order rate, 10 to 20%, you know, again, personalized flows, dynamic content showing the exact products, I said that, and then they typically perform better. And that's it. Real straightforward. Finally, as a final note for you brand owners, if you are a brand owner and you're doing at least 50K a month and you want to turn your email into a profit center, then book a call with us at the link below and we'll give you a fully custom email roadmap just for showing up. Appreciate your time. Take it easy.